everybody. I am so excited about our sponsor for this month, the Experience Live with Russ and Scott. It's the Gillette Home Team and Laura Gillette. How are you doing, Laura?
I'm doing wonderful.
That is so awesome. You know, the Gillette Home Team is doing so much in real estate. Give us a snapshot of what you're up to.
Awesome. Well, last year we were able to help 551 families either buy or sell real estate. We love our community. We love our clients. Our mission is to deliver the keys to home ownership through stellar customer service, integrity, and joy. And we're looking to help even more folks this year.
That is so awesome. You know, if you want a team that is there for you, is the Gillette Home Team and Laura Gillette. And thanks so much, Laura, for your sponsorship.
Well, Russ, not only was Laura and the Gillette team the sponsor for this month, they've been the sponsor for all of season 1 of the Experience Live with Russ and Scott.
It's amazing.
So, yeah, how wonderful.
Yeah. Well, they are wonderful people. Community heart, wonderful.
Yeah, they've been so involved in the community in so many different ways, not just as a business and providing jobs, but they do a lot of activities to give back. And I know you've been at some of the recent events.
Well, it's so true. And you know, even when COVID first got started, their number one thing was to reach out and help people, to lift people's spirits and to provide some things while everybody was quarantined and all that. So they've been a blessing all throughout.
Yeah. Well, just to let everyone know, Russ has been hit by something. So 2 weeks ago, I was the one that was under the weather. Today, it's Russ. And so if you feel a little less energy vibe out of Russ, it is completely understandable. And but it sounds like it might be just a head cold or something. So, but he will check and make sure that it's nothing more serious than that. But so we know what your morning's going to be after this. But quickly, what else have you got coming up?
Well, I was really excited. I have a book signing this weekend. Hopefully that's all going forward in Vancouver, Washington at the Vancouver Mall at Rainbow West. So that would be wonderful. And those of you that don't live in Vancouver, you can get Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose off of Amazon or any online booksellers. Yeah. And I want to it's my way to encourage you when I can't be directly with you or communicate with you. So,
and get the workbook. I encourage everyone to get the book, but also get the companion workbook,
right?
So that you can kind of go through the exercises and really, there's so many business books, so many self-help books that we have that we may have read and loved and put on the shelf and didn't actually put into action. So I encourage you, to everyone that's listening, to go ahead and get Russ's book and get the Befuddled workbook with it as well, and make it real. Make some difference in your life and in the lives of the people around you.
Speaking of books, you have a new book out.
Yeah, so I get published another one, a short one out. It's a field guide really about business networking, and just talking to people, because I put links in there. Inside the book, there's some links to some free training that helps support the concepts in the book, and it's all about. It's called Relationships Grow Your Business. And so it really is a guide with some practical steps and some structure around your network. But because of that publication and the links in there, I've had a lot of requests. And so I'm going to start a program to help people get published on Amazon, take that knowledge and also turn it into an online course. Now, publishing on Amazon is free, and I've got a way that we can get a course set up for free and help people just improve their influence and be able to reach more customers. So, so that's a program that I'm creating, and do that in 90 days or less.
Yeah, that's very, very exciting for you. I'm excited. All I can say is...
Well, hey, so the opening video, Russ, and this is the last episode for season 1, and we'll be on our summer hiatus coming back in September, and we've got great guests lined up. But I'm looking through and I'm looking at just the wonderful people that we've been able to talk to over these last few months since we started in January.
Yeah.
And that very first episode, when I woke up to no power in the house and broadcast from the car down the street on my phone. And so we've had some great guests, and today is no different.
That's
we
right.
have Amanda Tento and Amanda Ewing-Rice, and I am really excited for that. So without any further ado, let's bring Amanda in.
Let's bring Amanda in. Okay, we're going to give them a heads up so they know which Amanda we're bringing in. We're going to bring Amanda Ewing-Rice in first.
Indeed.
She's all ready to go. Hey, Amanda.
Hi, how are you?
Hey,
Good.
Amanda. It is great to see you again. Thanks. I was commenting before we got in. I love the Barcelona chair that she's got in there. It's so classic. And with that, Amanda, tell us, now you're down in San Francisco, Bay Area.
I am.
And tell us what's going on in your world.
So it's been a really interesting week. I recently had a house fire.
Oh, no.
So I'm dealing with that. But, we got really lucky. It didn't damage anything in our actual house. And just kind of going through insurance things. But other than that, business has been really great. Weather has been relatively nice.
And what business are you in?
So I am an estate planning attorney.
All right. And how did you chat? Now, in law, so I know when you go to law school is pretty general. And then at some point you have to decide that you're going to go into that. How did you make that decision?
So in undergraduate, I was actually working with Jumpstart, which is a preschool program. And I really loved teaching. Mm-hmm. And so when I went to law school, I wanted to go into something that was really a teaching experience. And so my first experience with a pro bono law clinic was estate planning. And I loved it. And I knew at that moment that that's what I wanted to do. And it's definitely teaching every day. And I just love it. Yeah.
So when you talk about estate planning, so just so that everyone has an understanding, so how does that work? Why would people come to Amanda?
Yeah. So, estate planning in general is just making sure that if you become incapacitated or if you pass away, that somebody is in line to step in and act on your behalf. And it's really not a conversation that a lot of people want to have, but I try to make it as easy as possible for people to have these conversations and go through, the different documents and everything kind of like legally it's like kind of overwhelming. I try to keep it as simple as possible, go through it and lay it out so people really think it's just easy. It's done. And I try to do that for them.
No, that's great. Yeah, I know that throughout history, there's been some great noticeable cases like Walt Disney and so forth, where they really didn't do that type of planning. And so everything in their life became public. It all has to go through courts. And when you take the steps to do estate planning, you can kind of make sure that your will is your will, right? And that the family information is private, I think.
Exactly. So that's when it goes through court, everything is public. And that's really, you don't want everybody to know where things are going, what you had, what was going on in your life. If you set up a proper estate plan, and in California, that involves a living trust, then you can make it completely private. You don't necessarily need an attorney to help you go through the trust administration or anything like that. It can all be private, and it's pretty expensive when you go through probate. If you have $1 million, it's kind of the costs and fees for the executor, the attorneys can be almost $40,000, which you can avoid by setting up a trust and spending $2,000, $3,000. So you're saving a ton of money by pre-planning.
Yeah.
So go
You
ahead.
know what I love about you, Amanda, is you're just so personable. You're so easy to talk to, and I know that you make it so much easier for people because it's a big deal getting planned. I've had to go through that with my parents, and I had to go through that. My wife and I just recently updated all of our stuff, and so it's a big deal to get all that going the right direction. And it's just a blessing that there's somebody like you that really cares about people that's there to help them.
So let's go
Thank
on the
you.
opposite end because Amanda, you're helping folks keep their information within the family, but we have Amanda Tento, who is all about making sure people know everything about you. So Russ, let's bring in Amanda. Amanda, we'll go ahead and get you off mute and have you go ahead and tell us what's going on in your world and how you help businesses.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And like you said, I am trying to get all of the information out there that can possibly be out there, but it's for business owners, so not necessarily your personal information, which is good. But I help business owners with Google My Business and getting seen, getting into that top 3 on the local pack, and really just getting those clients that they need to keep going and growing.
So Google My Business, what is that?
Yeah. So if you take out your phone right now and you look at, a coffee shop near me, for example. Yeah. So yeah, there you go, Russ. Russ is doing it. Good. So you take out your phone, you look for a coffee shop near me. There's going to be 3 little results that come up. And those results are actually the Google My Business listings for those particular businesses. So that's what Google My Business is. But what a lot of business owners don't realize is that they have control of that listing and all the information in there. And the way that you put the information in influences your ranking on Google.
Yeah, this is one of those things that in the old days, not that many years ago, when search engines were new and Google was one of them, their little crawlers would go out through the websites, gather us all this information, store it in a database. And when we did a search, we're actually searching the Google database. And then the link would come up, you click on it, and you go off to russhedge.com, and you'd buy a copy of Befuddled, right? Of course, that's what everyone was looking for. And Google decided that it was more profitable for them if people stayed on Google, right?
Definitely.
And so when I say coffee shops near me and those listings come up, they can tell me right now, are they open? What are their hours? Even their menu, phone number, everything is right there. Pictures, reviews, everything I need. And then I don't even need to leave Google.
Yeah, that's so true.
I just want to say that I'm pretty excited, Amanda. I just put in marketing coaching, and the number 1 name on the list, Russ Hedge, coach and motivational speaker. I must be doing something right.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it.
So
I'm so glad to hear that.
Amanda Ewing-Rice. So I want to have this opportunity for the 2 Amandas to kind of talk about maybe Amanda's business there doing law and estate planning, and Amanda Tento talking about how you would go about helping each other. What are these services, these estate services? How would they get found on Google My Business? We got just a little workshop opportunity that I know will help everybody out there.
Yes, definitely. So I will start because I think, hi, Alan. Definitely think that, your business an estate planning firm can benefit greatly from Google My Business. I'm sure you already have a listing. It's just optimizing that listing and making sure that you're showing up in the areas that you want to be seen in, for the people that have those estates. You don't want to show up in areas where people are not even going to think about estate planning. You want to make sure you're showing up in places where people are, getting ready or actively planning or anything like that, protecting those assets. So strategically picking those areas and those people is going to be one step. Google gives you 20 different opportunities to put in different zip codes where you can, say, I want to be shown up in this area or that area. So that would be my first recommendation. to you is to just go in and change those areas.
Yeah. And that's something that as a business owner, you sit there and I'm practicing estate planning and I'm trying to be on social media. I'm trying to manage my Google My Business. And then you're sitting there and you're like, okay, that's on the list. But you need somebody like Amanda Tento to kind of guide you through how to do it, because when you're sitting there and it's just overwhelming initially, to be honest, because I've gone into my listing, I've tried to do things, and you want to be the top kind of search result. And being in the Bay Area, there are so many just estate planning attorneys that being at the top of the list on Google can be so important.
Yes, definitely. And that is where people are going to go for those types of services too. Google is going to be probably one of the top choices. Family referrals, do you do a lot of referral business, or is it mainly cold leads?
It's a lot of referrals, because I help my clients in a great way. They love to refer their families and their friends, but everybody goes to Google to make sure that you're a legitimate business and that you treat your clients in a respectful way and that you're just a good business owner. So it's another way to really reinforce that you're the person that they want to use.
Definitely. And if you're not in the top 3 right now for your area, the good news is that most likely those other attorneys are not managing their profile. Most, of the 50% that are claimed, probably maybe 2% are actually out there managing their listing the way that it can be managed in order to get into that top. And they're probably just there by accident. So
I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of going in and being, I've claimed it, but I'm not really actively doing anything with it. So I need to go in and follow your guidance for that, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So Amanda Tento, how often? So let's just say Amanda Ewing-Rice just wanted to put on her calendar a little tickler that just said, "Go to Google My Business." How often should she do it, and what might she do when she was there?
So Google wants you to do it a minimum of 1 time per week. So once every 7 days. And that is, and when I say do it, that means posting an update. So it could be a COVID update. It could be a product, a service. It could be an event. If you have some sort of online class or anything like that, you can post that. And you can also just post a what's new update where you put a picture and a very nice keyword rich description and then a call to action. So there's 6 different calls to action that you can choose from. Making those posts, I recommend doing it 3 times a week. And for some people, that's a little overwhelming when you think, okay, like you just said, I have to do this and I have to do Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn and all of the things. But there are different scheduling tools that will make it a lot easier for you. My favorite one is Social Bee. That is an amazing scheduling tool where you can literally schedule to Google My Business, LinkedIn groups, everything. And that's a way to make it really easy for you.
I'm gonna have to write that down. Scheduling Bee.
It's Social Bee.
Yeah, so Social Bee. That's
okay. I can't hear this morning either.
So Social Bee. This is one of those things. So Amanda Ewing-Rice could have maybe someone on her staff once a month go into Social Bee and do these schedule these weekly postings, so they could do the 4, 6, or 12 postings in probably a very short period of time. And so not having to go in every week or multiple times per week, but maybe a staff member could go in once a month.
Yes.
That's a great idea.
That is. Well, one thing I find amazing is that there's all these free things for businesses. And I was just talking to one of my clients yesterday, and people are not taking advantage of it. They're not on Google My Business. They asked me, what is Google My Business? I said, please tell me you're kidding.
Yeah.
Says it's just sitting there free for you to claim. It's not that hard. And and social media and all the things there. I mean, even if, and this one client was telling me he doesn't like going on Google and social media. I said, well, I mean, most people don't, honestly. You just need to do what you're saying, be more intentional, proactive, schedule and do things so that it's an advantage for you. Because number one thing, people joke with me because I'm the selfie guy and I'm on social media all the time, but I'm really not. I post a lot. I post a lot to get visibility and activity up, but I don't look at social media hardly ever. So people just need to realize it is your choice. You can go on social media and not look at all the stuff that's there.
I was at a conference in Guy Kawasaki, and a lot of people remember Guy as the evangelist for Apple for Macintosh, and been pretty famous. And so I was at this conference. He was there giving a talk, and he says the only reason he's on social media is for business. He says, I don't want to be your friend. He's like, I got plenty of friends. I got a wife, 3 kids, 2 dogs, a cat, a bunny, some goldfish, right? He says, I don't want to be, the only reason I'm there is for business. And that's really, whether or not you're a social media person or a Google person, your clients and prospective clients are. And it's just a communications channel.
Yeah.
So there was a time when the telephone was new, and business owners they're like, I don't have a phone. I don't want to have a phone. I don't know anyone has a phone. Why would I put a phone in my business? But today, no one would start a business without having a phone, a business phone, and a website. And these are just now required tools to be in business.
Yes.
Definitely. And that's where I've noticed before, like maybe 2 years ago, having an Instagram for a law firm didn't make sense. And now that's where people go kind of for information and to learn about different things. And so now I know as a law firm, we need an Instagram. And so that's something that I've been, trying to develop along with my, my Google posting and how people see me visibly online, but really just going in and proactively doing those things is really important.
Yep. It doesn't take you don't have to be hugely active, but it is a communication channel. You are sharing about the business, and a lot of people, this is what they use for communication. So my son, he's 18 years old. I don't call him. I don't send him text messages. We communicate through the messaging on Snapchat because that works for him. That works for me. So I can say I'm not really a Snapchat guy, but I use Snapchat. Right.
It's interesting.
I haven't used Snapchat for so long when my kids were in college. One thing that I found, Scott, you mentioned earlier, and just a slight twist on what you said. I'm all about relationship marketing, and I think friends help friends, right? So I am all about being friends with people, but being a friend is being a positive influence. Being a friend is not sitting there and droning on about all the negative things in the world. And that's where I really separate social media. If I can be a bright light of positivity and the things that I send out to my friends, that's what I want to do. I'm honestly not going to look at most of the posts they put on. Thank God I have a beautiful wife who tells me when there's things important on there that I need to look at. But she'll normally alert me. But my whole goal is to I always say be an actor, not a reactor. My whole goal is to act, to do the positive, uplifting things I want to do on social media or Google, and then leave the rest for everybody else. But I do want to be friends because I think relationship marketing is so important. They're the people that are going to be your community and help your business.
And I love this too, Amanda Ewing-Rice, that you were talking about the referrals and people wanting, people who give you referrals. And just going away from Google My Business for a moment and sticking on Instagram. Instagram is very popular with the demographic likely that would be great customers for you. And if you have that presence for the business on Instagram, and some friend says, let me just, and they'll tag each other in there. So now that in your description, you've got the link to your website and all that stuff. And this is how referrals can happen. And
definitely.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I've noticed that with just kind of like referral marketing. I've met people just through kind of networking, and then we become really great friends. And their way of kind of referring me to people is either by saying, hey, look at her Yelp reviews, look at all of those other things, and just getting me connected with other people that way too.
And that's a great thing too, Amanda Tento. You just talk about these Yelp reviews, but what about Google reviews, and how do people get reviews? Of course, we want good reviews, and how do we deal with those reviews that are negative? What should we do?
So, to talk about how to get reviews, you definitely want to have some sort of system in place for once your clients, whatever work that is, once that relationship is, or the transaction is completed, you want to have some sort of system in place. And this is really important for high volume businesses because they're going to have like 30, 40 clients in there in a day. And you need to make sure that you have a system in place for getting those reviews and capturing them. For someone like Amanda, I would say you would want to have also that review system in place, but make it a little more personal. Or if they're in your office and they're sitting there waiting for you to do something, I always recommend having a QR code. And that QR code is going to lead right to your Google review link. And just have that in your office, at your front desk, wherever in your business. And then that way it's going to trigger them, just say, oh, if you have a minute while you're sitting here waiting for us to finish this up, go ahead and leave us a review. They're in that zone of like, I'm here. Is the service good? Like that kind of thing. So that's one of the ways that I would recommend generating reviews. And then as far as responding to the not so nice reviews, you definitely want to respond, and you want to respond in a way, and this is how I always word it. You want to respond not to that person, but to that person, like to a potential customer that might be reading the response. Because if you go on there and you're saying, oh, no, I don't like, or that didn't happen, you're wrong. Like, it's just a very negative tone. And so it's always important to acknowledge that they had a problem in some way, and then offer, your phone number and say, please give me a call so we can talk about this. If they're not an actual customer, which can happen sometimes, maybe it's someone's cousin, or maybe they just picked a business that's similar in name and they got confused. That happens. So just say, like, we don't have you in our database, but we would love to talk to you about this and make sure that, there is no issue or anything like that. Leave your name and your phone number. So that way they know that you've tried to resolve it and you're leaving it on a positive note.
That's great advice.
I found that you often, Amanda, need to be very intentional about asking people for reviews. Like you said, you talking about the QR code, because people have a great heart, but they just don't do it unless you make it easy for them. So I just really think that was a super great idea. But I want to let you know that I am the show policeman. I have to wrap things up because Scott makes me be the bad guy.
I was going to fill that role. I was going to fill that role today, and not make you say, all right, we've come to the end of our time. And so Amanda, it has been so wonderful having you. We want to let everyone know how to get in contact with you and learn more about Google My Business and estate planning. So Amanda Ewing-Rice, why don't you go ahead and start?
Yeah, so I am Amanda Ewing-Rice. Our law firm name is quite long, but it's the Atashi Rang Ewing-Rice Law Firm. We're based out of the Bay Area, San Francisco, Walnut Creek. And if you want to give us a call, our phone number is 415-398-7275, or you can send me an email, amanda@arerlaw.com. Thank you.
Nice. Very good. And Amanda Tento.
Awesome. You can email me at amanda@tdm-marketing.com. Visit the same website, tdm-marketing.com. And you can also call or text 3135-GOOGLE. So.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Nice.
You did really good. Hey, just speaking of those, and I saw that we had a message from Alan. He just thinks that the QR codes are a great idea, and actually have a friend that had some temporary tattoos made up that are QR codes.
Oh, that's
for
hilarious.
one of his clients, and I just thought that is hilarious. Anyway, what fun. Russ, even though you have like almost no voice, I will let you send us out.
Well, I appreciate you both so much, and I want to thank you. This has been wonderful. I've learned a lot, and so I've told you both when we connected that I am an ongoing connection person. I consider you both friends, and thank you so much for that. And so we will definitely talk. And when I have questions about my will and estate and all that, I will call you, Amanda. And when I have issues with my Google My Business, Amanda, I'll call you. So it'll be easy to remember. At least I only have to remember Amanda after this one. So that's good.
Good.
But thank you. And we appreciate you both. I'm going to send you out to the green room, but hang tight. And Scott and I are going to wrap things up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, you made it through, Russ.
Woo. I have one more show this afternoon. Authentic Rhythms. That is a brand new show. It's going to be every other week. And that is with La Casa Gaboldo this afternoon.
Yep.
And I'm gonna limp through that show. I'm gonna make it. I just wanted to Alan, I am gonna rest. Yeah. I'm gonna actually, after I go get tested, I'm going to go straight to bed for a while. But
Set
anyway.
the alarm.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you, Scott.
Well,
Thanks
I'm excited for that show, and again, we are. This is the end of season 1 of the Experience Live with Russ and Scott. I just want to thank Russ for being such a great friend and being a great guy, a great host, and for you do so much of the work to make the Experience the show that it is, and all the promotion and the graphics and scheduling the guests. You have made season 1 a fabulous experience for me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're so welcome. I love doing it, and it's been a total blast. And so, thank you, everybody. We are going to be back in mid-September. Look at all your social media for posts coming up, and super excited about what we've got coming up. The next show is actually on the 15th, September 15th. And we're going to have Oleg and Usama, which is going to be quite a duo. So you're going to want to tune in for that.
Indeed.
So, anyway, thanks so much, everybody. And let's see here. We have one more comment I was going to look at. There you go. One more from Alan. There you go. Trying to get that on.
Thank you, Alan.
So, but until we see you guys again, have a great day and a great life. Talk to you later.
Enjoy the experience.